Welcome back to the cleverly named Jon Krawczynski Show, starring Jon Krawczynski from The Athletic and TalkNorth.com. I'm Jim Suhan from the Star Tribune and TalkNorth.com. Let's go ahead and just let you know that this is what the NFL would call a short week. We're doing a show today, but we're doing another show on Saturday. John, tell me about it.
Yeah, I can't wait to get back to Headflyer Brewing in Northeast Minneapolis on Saturday. We are pouring the Crunch Time beer now, my collaboration with Headflyer. That's in its third iteration, a citrus wheat beer that is just super refreshing for this time of year. And we're going to have another live show at Headflyer, which is always a good time. We're going to bring Michael Grady in to sit in with Jim and myself and really just talk about this topsy-turvy, up and down Wolves season, get Grady's perspective on what he has seen in depth and up close with the team. Also, his rise to kind of a budding star in the national broadcasting circuit with his work with ESPN. There's also, as you know, when you come into Headflyer for a live show with the Jon Krawczynski Show, there's going to be amazing giveaways from the Timberwolves, from just all sorts of different entities that we're going to give out. Also, you can register when you go in to get your hands on a signed Naz Reid jersey, which is super cool. So we're going to have a great conversation with Michael Grady. We're going to have drink specials with Crunch Time being poured, and we're going to have a ton of great giveaways on Saturday at 7:00. I'd get there a little bit early. These Saturday shows really kind of pack in the place. So if you want a good seat, get there early, and let's have some fun and talk some Wolves and set up the stretch run here.
We are coming to you from the Aquarius Home Services Studios. We're presented to you by Gigli, Gigli.com. Tell you more about them in a second here. Great time for TalkNorth.com. John's show is killing it. His live shows are killing it. By the time you hear this, we will have had our first Talk North Sports Report live show with Mark. We brought Mark Rosen on board. He's already recorded his first show. It'll be out Monday. So we've had a show with Mark Rosen, Jon Krawczynski, Michael Russo, Lavelle Neal, and myself at Parlay Kitchen and Bar downtown Minneapolis. We're going to do those quarterly. Come out to the next one if you weren't at the last one. It's just great to be working with Mark and such a great staff here at TalkNorth.com. Thanks to everyone for your support. We really do appreciate it. So let's get to the state of the Wolves as we're talking here on Wednesday morning.
The state of the Wolves is tenuous,
yes,
as it has been all season long, Jim. When you look at what this team has done from the start of the season to now, they put together stretches where you see everything come together and you say, hey, this is a team that can win multiple series in the playoffs. And then they drop down into stretches where they are right now, which is a team that could lose 2 games in the play-in and not go to the playoffs at all. I think that it's a little bit troubling right now because it seems like the Wolves have been at their best and Chris Finch has been at his best managing this roster when it is a little shorthanded, when 1 or 2 guys are out with injury and it kind of opens up opportunities for others. When this team is fully healthy with everyone available, I think Chris Finch is having a harder time deviating from his top 8 plus 1 more rotation. And I think that right now what is required of this team is for Chris Finch to be even more malleable over the course of a game. So, for instance, they're playing in Indiana the other night, and Ant is dealing with a thumb injury and is 1 for 11 from 3. He's just really struggling shooting the ball. Nikhil is struggling. Dante DiVincenzo is struggling. That's maybe an opportunity for Terrence Shannon. Maybe that's more Jalen Clark. Maybe that's a little bit of Dillingham. I'm not sure, but the team as currently constructed, when everyone is healthy, it seems to be locked in with a rotation. And when that rotation is not going well, when they're not hitting threes, they just really do struggle to kind of get outside of it and figure out another way to get back into games. And so that's what we're seeing right now, is we're seeing a group that is a lot of the foibles of early in the season are kind of resurfacing now at the wrong time, because other teams finally, Jim, are losing around them.
Yep.
And this would be an opportunity for them to make up ground. And instead, they're kind of stuck right where they're at.
It's amazing. It feels like right when we all thought they had figured it out. And they had, too. They'd won 8 straight. They'd won like 12 straight when Julius Randle's in the lineup. Just when you thought, oh, man, they figured it out, they stopped figuring it out.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, and I think that when you talk to the players, there is a bit of a confusion, a bit of a, just kind of grasping for answers because they don't know exactly how quickly it fell off because it was quick. I mean, they were rolling. They had beaten the Utah Jazz on that, a week ago Sunday for 8 straight wins, and they thumped them. They really played well in that game. There was a lot of energy, a lot of pop. Then they play the Pacers, who are severely shorthanded, and they kind of, mail that one in. Then they play the Pelicans, who are terrible, but Zion kind of overwhelms them. They bounce back, with another win over the Pelicans, and they go to the Pacers and get blown out. And, Julius Randle had said after the first New Orleans loss that it feels like they'd lost their energy, like they'd lost their swag. And that does feel the case right now. They don't seem to have the same sort of energy and zip and juice that they had during that 8-game winning streak. And exactly why, I'm not sure. I mean, there was a stretch of 16 games and 29 nights. It was a brutal, real stretch of games, and maybe they were a little bit tired. But unfortunately for them, because of the losses that they had earlier in the season, they don't have time to be tired right now. They have to get their foot on the gas and get going. And so that's why I do think this 3-day stretch that they have off this week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, before they play again against Phoenix on Friday, I think it's really important for them to recharge their batteries a little bit and try and find that final closing kick that they're going to need to get up into that 6th seed.
Well said. More to get to, more specifics to get to. By the way, if you hear this in time, you could still make it to the Talk North Sports Report live, 7 p.m. Wednesday, March 26th at Parlay Kitchen and Bar, downtown Minneapolis. We're going to start at 7. We're going to have giveaways of tickets for local, prominent local teams. You get to meet Mark Rosen. It's going to be a blast. Come out if you can. Come early. We're going to have some specials and some cool stuff beforehand as well, but the show actually starts at 7. Thanks to everyone who's put it together, including Andrew Height from our staff. That show and many other shows across the network, including this one, are sponsored by Giggly.com, Gigli. There's no aftertaste. It tastes great. I love the blueberry lemonade. I also love the raspberry ginger mule. I also love the pineapple mojito. I also love the blood orange margarita. They just taste fresh, crisp. You will not get a hangover. It's the real fruit juice. It's all natural. The flavors are bold. It tastes like your favorite cocktail, but you won't wake up with a hangover. It's such a good deal, especially midweek when you can't afford to have a hangover. You can find all the Giggly products at your favorite local liquor store and at all Quick Trips across Minnesota. I know I've seen them in the grocery stores I've been in lately. They will also ship nationwide. Gigli.com. New low pricing, low calorie, fun drinks. Check them out. My wife and I both love them. And let's also, while we have a moment, let's thank Aquarius Home Services.
Has your heating system ghosted you? Just not there when you needed it this winter? Scott from Aquarius Home Services. If your furnace has been hit or miss this winter, it might be time for an upgrade. Right now, save up to 25% on a new high-efficiency heating and cooling system, because comfort should never disappear. Enjoy reliability and peace of mind. Schedule your free estimate today at AquariusHomeservices.com. Aquarius, earning the right to be recommended.
So one of the big storylines the last couple months is that they had started winning every game that Julius Randle started. Julius looked like he was a key to the offense. He was passing the ball brilliantly. He was bullying people down low. He was scoring at will. And it feels like maybe it's natural for a guy coming back from an injury. He just feels like he's in a lull.
Yeah, I think he is in a bit of a lull, Jim. One of the things that I think is impacting that is that the 3-point shooting over this last stretch of games has fallen off a cliff. And a lot of that is Anthony Edwards and Dante DiVincenzo, Nickeil Alexander-Walker a little bit as well. But so much of what was driving Julius Randle's effectiveness offensively was his ability to put the ball on the floor, get into the lane, get into the paint, draw multiple defenders, and then kick out to open 3-point shooters who knock down great looks. And that was really driving the winning that Julius Randle was kind of helping produce. And what we have seen of late is he's driving, he's kicking out, and it's DiVincenzo missing. It's Anthony Edwards missing. It's Naz Reid missing. Mike Conley's shooting great. A few other guys are shooting really well, but a lot of the beneficiaries of his kickouts are not converting at the rate that they were during that winning streak. There was a point where the Wolves were, I think, second in 3-point attempts and first in 3-point percentage. And like, that's just a wonderful recipe for good offense. And so when his shooters are failing him, that also reduces Julius's effectiveness, because I think then he tries to be even a little bit more aggressive in creating his own shot. And then it can feel a lot more forced. It can feel a lot more difficult to, not as free and easy. And I think that's been an issue over these last 4 games, where you just don't see the same rhythm. You don't see the same flow. And, when you got Ant going 1 for 11 from 3, and I think he's shooting around 30% since February 1st, 32% from 3. I mean, that's just not going to get it done, especially at the volume that Ant is shooting it at. So there's part of it is that Julius Randle is not quite as efficient as he was, but a lot of it, I think, is that his teammates are not converting the open looks that he is creating with the same success rate that they were doing when things were going well.
How much of a concern is Ant's hand injury right now?
I think it is a concern, Jim. It's a thing where it was not, from what I'm told, it was not an injury that happened during a game or practice. I think it happened at home. Exactly how, I'm not sure, but I think it's just an accident. But when you look at the way that it certainly affected him in that game against Indiana, and then, I think it'll be better by Friday when they play again, but I don't think it's something that completely goes away by that time. So he's going to have to play through some discomfort. And when you look at his shot profile, his mid-range game has not been great this year. His at-the-rim game leaves a lot to be desired. What has made him special this season is that 3-point shot. And if that thumb is affecting his 3-pointer even more than it had been previous to the injury, now all of a sudden the fulcrum of the Timberwolves offense is diminished quite a bit. And so it is something that I think we're going to be watching very closely here over the next few days and really probably the next week, and see how Ant adapts to playing with that injury. I didn't think he did a good job of that on Monday, Jim, in Indiana. He was 6 for 8 from 2 and 1 for 11 from 3. And I think that he has almost too much confidence in his shot right now, that if whether it's the thumb affecting it or not, if you're not hitting, you got to go to the basket more. And I know that's a very physically taxing thing, but that's what is required of him right now. That's what this offense needs. And so if that thumb does limit his 3-point shooting here over the next stretch of games, that's a very, very big problem for the Timberwolves. They don't have a whole lot of answers for accounting for missing, the 4 to 5 3-point makes a game that Ant usually has, and what that does not only for the offense in general, but what it does for him individually to open other avenues up to score at the rim. So, long story short, that is a very concerning thing right now. And, we're going to go to practice a little later. We're recording this Wednesday morning. Hopefully we get a little bit more of a read on how that injury is and what the process is for him coming back, because that's a big factor in their ability to win games down the stretch here.
Let's get to Ant's head. Let's get to the Ingles story and how the kids are going to be used, and the state of the Warriors and the Clippers as we go down the stretch here, and the Lakers. But right now, we want to hear more about Princeton's Liquors.
Princeton's Liquors in Maple Grove. Bill Princeton and the Princeton family have been in the liquor selling business for decades and decades. They are a part of this community, and we at the Jon Krawczynski Show and at Talk North love community partnerships like the one we have with Princeton's Liquors. You go into Princeton's Liquors, you're going to have any kind of wine, beer, spirit that you could want. They specialize in craft beer. They specialize in bourbon, but you can get anything that you could want under the sun. The weather is getting warmer. Everyone wants to be outside on their patio. You're grilling. You want to have a nice cocktail. You want to have a good beer. Go to Princeton's Liquors in Maple Grove. You go there. You can also find the Crunch Time collaboration I have with Headflyer. You can find all sorts of different flavors that you could want. But we want to thank Bill Princeton and Princeton's Liquors for being such a good partner with us at the Jon Krawczynski Show for such a long time now. And the way that we thank them is we support them and we go in. So when you go into Princeton's Liquors, tell them the Jon Krawczynski Show sent you. Get yourself something great to accompany a night on the patio, some time in your basement watching the Wolves play and grinding out these games. Princeton's Liquors in Maple Grove.
Thanks to TSR Injury Law. Last week we had Steve Terry on to tell us about his journeys with the team. He travels with the team for a trip or two every year, and they have some cool things going on. Go back and listen to it. I recommend it. Or just go to TSR Injury Law. 612-TSR-TIME is the number you need to know if you're ever injured. Call 612-TSR-TIME. They'll take care of you. Enjoy the commercials with Naz Reid. Enjoy Steve Terry's personality. We hope you never need that number, but if you do need the number, 612-TSR-TIME. They will not charge you unless they win your case, and they win lots of cases. Thanks also to Royal Credit Union.
There are many reasons to open a smart checking account at Royal Credit Union, including no monthly fees, no minimum balance, and a $250 bonus. Getting your $250 is easy. Open your account by May 31st, receive 2 payroll direct deposits of $200 or more, and you'll get a $250 bonus. See details and open your account today at rcu.org/checking bonus. No minimum balance required to obtain bonus. Offer ends 5/31/25. Insured by NCUA.
True Vision Institute in Bloomington. I've been telling you about it for months now. Just a life-changing experience for me to go to True Vision and have LASIK surgery this summer. Everything is easier for me after having LASIK surgery. I don't have the hassles of contacts and eyeglasses. I don't have to worry about going in for annual appointments to get the eyes checked, and also to make sure that I have the latest and greatest style of glasses, and I'm not looking like some washed up 46-year-old like I am, trying to stay ahead of the trends. I don't have that anymore. I'm just going around free and clear without anything on my face, and that's all thanks to the good folks at True Vision. When you go into True Vision, you will immediately notice how welcoming, how warm, how friendly, and how knowledgeable the staff is there. They get you in, they get you checked out, they find the right vision correction options for you, and then Dr. Chu is just world class in how he helps you through the procedure, how he makes sure that he gets you taken care of, and like he did with me. And I've had zero issues with my vision since I had the surgery in July. And I just keep kicking myself and wishing I would have done it 10 years ago. So go to truevision.com and set up your consultation. Tell them the Jon Krawczynski Show sent you, and get on with your life. Make it easier on yourself, and just get to the point where you can kick your own self in the butt and say, why didn't I do this a long time ago?
So we talked about Ant's hand. Where's Ant's head? And do you have any faith that he will be able to avoid technicals the rest of the way?
You know, he seems to be doing a better job of muting his reactions to officials. He is still reacting. There's no doubt about it. There's still some strong arguing with officials. He's still kind of hollering a little bit on some of the drives where he feels like he's gotten contact that isn't called. It's an issue, but it's not as big of an issue as it was earlier in this season. So I think he deserves a little bit of credit for just calming himself down and just doing what needs to be done so that he does not put himself in the position to get any more technicals. You never know. He could get frustrated, especially I worry, Jim, when his shot isn't falling, when the frustration rises a little bit, is he still able to control his emotions and contain himself enough where, if there is a call that is missed or something, that he doesn't lash out. That's something that he has to be careful of. But by and large, he has done a good job of reining that in. And he is not, some stoic player who's just going to play through everything and not say a word. But he's also not cussing at officials as often. He's not clapping in their direction. He's not doing a lot of the things that were raising the ire of the officials and putting them in such a difficult spot earlier in the season.
Tell me about the Joe Ingles story.
What a great moment, Jim. This has been a long season. It's been a frustrating season at times. It's been trying. It's been up and down. But to go into a game on last Friday night against the New Orleans Pelicans, when the Wolves had lost 2 straight games, they were in kind of dire straits. They needed to win that game. And even with all of that riding on the outcome, Chris Finch still decided to put Joe Ingles in the starting lineup. And why did he do that? He did it because Joe Ingles' family, his wife Renee, his 3 kids, Jacob, Jack, and Milla, were in town visiting for the week because the Wolves had a long homestand. The family has stayed in Orlando all season long while Joe has been up here. And the reason that they've stayed in Orlando is that their 8-year-old son, Jacob, has autism. And he has a school in Orlando that has really helped him start to make progress and develop and blossom and kind of handle a lot of the sensory issues that have been such a big problem for him. And he has a school there and a home there that he's very comfortable with. So it did not make sense for the Ingles family to uproot and move him up here for 7-8 months and then go on about their business because Joe is on a 1-year deal. And so they come up for the 5-game homestand. And on that Sunday, the previous Sunday against the Jazz, Jacob came to the game with the rest of the family and was able to watch the whole game in the arena. And this was an enormous milestone for Jacob and for the Ingles family because all of the sensory stuff that you and I have issues with at the arena, Jim, with the loud music and the strobing lights.
Loud noises.
Just all of the crazy things, the sensory overload that happens at an NBA arena. It's hard on us as old fogies, but it was always really difficult for Jacob with his autism. And so generally speaking, Jacob would be able to last a few minutes, maybe a quarter here or there in an NBA game, in an NBA arena, and then he'd have to leave. And so on Sunday, when he made it from the start to the finish, that was the first time in his life that he had made it through an entire NBA game in the arena. And Joe and Renee were just thrilled with this. Like they just said, this is unbelievable progress for their boy to be able to make it through the whole thing, be able to watch the whole game. The only bummer about it was that Joe didn't play. Now, Joe has rarely played this season, only played in 18 games, a bunch of games where he just comes in for an inbound pass at the end of the game, and that's about it. And so last Friday against the Pelicans was the last game of this homestand, and then the family was going to go back to Orlando as the Wolves kind of started another batch of road games. And so Jacob took the Wednesday game off, and then was back in the arena and was going to give it a go on Friday. For the last time. He wanted to be around his dad. He wanted to be around the family a little bit more. And so Chris Finch got word that Jacob had this milestone on Sunday, and that really kind of the only bummer about it was that he didn't get to see his dad play. And so, it was kind of brought up to him from the team that, hey, if there's a chance for Joe Ingles to get into the game on Friday, I think it would mean a lot to the Ingles family if he was able to get in the game. Maybe it's a blowout. Maybe with Zion not playing, maybe they get up big and you can get Joe into the game in the second half or in the fourth quarter and give Jacob kind of a thrill. And so Finch told us after the game that, someone brought it to him, put it in his mind, and he thought about it and then had a discussion with Joe, had a discussion with Mike Conley, and they decided ultimately that the best course of action, let's put Joe in the starting lineup. Let's let Jacob see his dad introduced in the arena, listen to the big roar of the crowd for his dad when he's announced, and then let him play right at the start, because there was no guarantee that Jacob was going to make it through another game. It could have been, one of those one-off things where he was good one game and then it was going to regress the next. That's the nature of autism. You never know. And so Chris Finch said, if we're going to do it, let's do it in style. And they put Joe out there at the start. He played 6 minutes. He didn't play all that well. But I was able to talk to Renee afterward. We talked to Joe, saw some of the videos that were posted on Instagram, and it was just an unbelievable moment. To see and to be a part of the humanity of it, really take a step back and say, yes, this season has been difficult. There's been all sorts of things, but man, there are so many bigger issues in life than what's been going on with this team. And, it was really cool to see. And then it was even cooler to see Chris Finch in the post game telling us about how this all came together and getting emotional. He is not an emotional guy when it comes to, talking about the game or giving interviews. But he got very choked up talking about what those minutes meant for the Ingles and the Ingles family. And, I think in a long season to have a moment like that, I thought it was really cool. And I think that Chris Finch deserves all the credit in the world for having kind of the guts to really mess with a starting lineup and put someone out there who is never not playing much anymore, and just to kind of help, a family in need that's been through a lot. So just a super cool moment, in 21 years covering this league, covering this team, that's definitely up there in terms of emotional, really, kind of heartstring pulling moments like that. Very, very cool for everyone involved.
Yes, well said. That's great stuff. All right, we're going to get back to basketball here. Glad we had the Ingles story to talk about. Great stuff. Let's right now, though, thank Headflyer Brewing, where we'll see you on Saturday night.
Yep, Headflyer Brewing, Northeast Minneapolis. As I said at the top of the show, Saturday night, 7 p.m. at Headflyer. We will be there for a live show with Michael Grady as our special guest. Second time for Grady being there. He is an awesome storyteller. He is a superstar in the broadcasting field. So come in, soak up some stories from us. We'll talk about the season. We'll go through the ups and downs. You'll have the chance to answer questions or to ask us questions
or
about
answer.
the Wolves.
It's fine.
Or answer. Yeah, maybe answer some, because I certainly don't have all the answers for these. But we will have specials for drinks. We will have crunch time being poured. We will also have giveaways. Generally speaking, I don't have them secured yet, but I think, game tickets. There you can get in the ring for a Naz Reid autographed jersey. There's going to be a bunch of awesome things to give away. And to make it worth your while. It'll be a Saturday night. It should be popping in there. There is a lot of excitement around the team, even though there's a lot of angst too. So I'm really looking forward to it. So go to, again, Headflyer Brewing in Northeast Minneapolis, Saturday night, 7 p.m. We will see you there with special guest Michael Grady.
Love Grady. It's going to be a blast. The shows are always great. And John, you've done a great job of lining up incredible guests, and Grady's one of our favorites. So looking forward to that. So Wolves are struggling. Warriors got killed in Miami on Tuesday night. Clippers seem to be surging, but you never know whether you can trust them or not. The Lakers have been a little iffy lately. What do you make of this race for the 6th seed?
Yeah, it's crazy, Jim, because, I don't have to tell you and most people listening to this that during the Wolves' 8-game winning streak, they're winning all these games, and yet they're not making up any ground because everyone around them was winning. And now, at least when they've gone into a little bit of a funk, you have Memphis, you have the Lakers, you have the Warriors, you have a bunch of teams that are losing right with them. So every time, especially after that Pacers game on Monday, you get all the messages on Twitter and stuff of just season's over. Play in game, here it comes. And so you look at kind of just the topsy-turvy nature of this race. It makes total sense that it is going this way, and no one is able to pull away. No one is able to really assert themselves. And so the Wolves are still very much in it with 9 games to go. Their schedule is favorable compared to most of the other teams. It is right there for them. And so I just think that it's going to come right down to the wire again, Jim. That's what it seems like. I mean, Steph Curry's a little bit banged up right now. John Morant is not playing for the Grizzlies every night. They just lost Brandon Clark. Everybody's going through things. LeBron is reacclimating with the Lakers. There's just, every team has faults. Every team has issues, and it's all just playing out in an incredibly messy and just, entertaining situation here. That battle for number 6 is going to come down to the final week, I believe, and we'll see. I think the Wolves still do have a chance at this thing.
They do, and I would not venture any kind of a projection or prediction with this team. They could do pretty much anything from this point going forward. Let's wrap up today's show. Remember, live show 7 p.m. March 26th. Parley Kitchen and Bar, Jon Krawczynski, one of our stars, along with Mark Rosen. Come out, say hello. We'll have giveaways. It'll be great. Then Saturday night, 7 p.m., Headflyer Brewing, the Jon Krawczynski show, with gifts and a chance to meet Michael Grady, who's one of our favorite people. Thanks for all your support. Come out and see us. We would appreciate it. Today, let's wrap up today's show with our Shepherd Goods and Lamb Chops mention and then Twitter question.
Yeah, so just a reminder, you go to sglambchops.com and use the promo code JONK20, John K20, for 20% off anything at Shepherd Goods. It is the most comfortable, best casual wear that you can find around. I am wearing a Lamb Chops hoodie right now. It is so comfortable. It is so high quality. You know that this thing is going to last for years and years, and it's going to look good doing it. So go to Shepherd Goods and Lamb Chops Clothing at sglambchops.com, promo code JONK20 for 20% off hoodies, hats, shirts, shorts, pants, sweaters, all sorts of different stuff that you can check out. It's great material, super stylish, wear it anywhere, sglambchops.com. And so this week's Lamb Chops Twitter question comes from Adam Goldberg. And he says, Jalen Clark has shown flashes of defensive tenacity and energy off the bench this season, like we saw in his steals and scoring bursts. How do you see his role evolving with the Wolves as the season progresses, especially with a crowded roster? And given how Karl Anthony Towns left a legacy of community connection in Minnesota, do you think Clark's personality and hustle could make him a similar fan favorite and community figure in the Twin Cities? It's a great question from Adam. On the second part first, Jalen Clark is very engaging. He's very smart. He has a great personality and kind of a demeanor about him. I know this week he was at a community event reading to, I believe, a school, and just kind of engaging and promoting the importance of reading. He comes from a great family that, two very education-minded parents. And so, yeah, I do think that he can carve a role for himself in the community as a fan favorite. That way he wants to engage with fans. He kind of gets on social media and goes back and forth with them all the time. So there's just a really good way about him, that is super engaging and is really easy to kind of root for. On the playing side, more importantly right now, he has quickly ingratiated himself with Chris Finch to a level that very few young players have been able to do. I think that, his defensive tenacity, as Adam said, coupled with his decision making on offense, has just made him be someone that, as Chris Finch said, he trusts him implicitly, even on the offensive end. And that is a rare thing for a young player. Clark is in his second season, essentially as a rookie, because he did not play at all last year. But everything that Jalen Clark does is the right thing, it seems like. I mean, if he shoots, he's supposed to shoot. If he puts it on the floor and goes to the basket, that's what he should have done. If he just moves it to keep the ball moving, that was the right move. And so, Chris Finch's challenge right now, and he has talked about this, is that he has to understand that Jalen Clark is ready to play and play at a lot right now. And so it can be difficult for a coach to say, yep, I'm going to trust the second-year player over a Nickeil Alexander-Walker if he's having a rough night. Even Dante, even Mike Conley, any of these guys who are, if they're just a little off, if something is not working, Jalen Clark is an antidote for a lot of what ails the Wolves in different situations. And it is incumbent upon Chris Finch now to really just feel like he can trust him to a higher degree. He said it after the New Orleans Pelicans lost last week that he played Jalen 12 minutes. He should have played him 20. And there's going to be more of those opportunities down the stretch. And just given his Clark's ability on both ends to make an impact, Chris Finch has to let him go do that. And so I think he's going to blossom into an incredible role player for this team. He's already doing that. And that is definitely something to watch, not only right now, but going forward. If Nickeil Alexander-Walker leaves in free agency, Clark is a suitable replacement. Guys like that. So we'll watch it closely, but it's a good question, Adam, and we will reach out to you to connect you with Lamb Chops for your free giveaway. So thanks for sending it in, and thanks for listening.
Thanks to Shepherd Goods and Lamb Chops Clothing Line for sponsoring the Twitter question and for all their support. Thanks to all of our sponsors. Looking forward to these live shows. Looking forward to working with Mark Rosen on our network. Check out Mark Rosen's Sports Monday on Monday when it comes out. His first episode's dropping. Poor Mark, he had to use me as his first guest, but the guests will get better, including Don Shelby and a lot of his friends from the old school sports universe. Once again, thanks for listening to TalkNorth.com. Thanks for listening to the Jon Krawczynski Show. Hope to see you live soon.